Hi everybody and welcome back to AFTV, the preview show. We are looking at Arsenal's big game coming up this Saturday against Aston Villa. Joining me to preview the show, we've got two legendary AFTV contributors. We've got James on my far right and we've got Turkish in the building. What are you guys saying?
Right.
Happy?
Bit chilly.
Happy?
If only we had a studio. Sorry, right. Yeah, you got to be. Come on, this place was bouncing yesterday after a North London derby win. The Emirates needed that.
Absolutely.
It needed, I know we don't always love it, but it needed a bit of singing and dancing at full time, a little bit of good energy running through the club and the fans.
I don't mind singing, by the way. Of course you sing at games. My problem was never singing. I know Lee mentioned my name in the fan cam and said something about Turkish said not to sing. I didn't say not to sing. I just spoke about, where's the songs for the legends and the great moments we had. That also needs to get projected onto the pitch across the younger fan base as well. But you're right, it was bouncing.
We needed that. We needed some fueling, and I think
we needed a win. I think that's the most important.
Yeah,
to get the stadium bouncing and all of that. The stadium bounces if you win.
Well, exactly. And I said this on Forever Arsenal, but I took the words out of Gunner Blog's mouth, James McNicholas, which is that we needed also a week in which Liverpool dropped points and we capitalised. That's what we really needed, and we got that. And it couldn't have been under better circumstances than in the North London derby against Tottenham at home. But then, dare I say, and we're going to talk about on Talking Transfers, by the time this comes out we'll have done Talking Transfers, so go check it out. But, the Zubimendi stuff also played a part in it. So you just, for the first time in what feels like weeks and weeks and weeks, we actually just got this kind of, dominoes of good news, which
there's definitely a bit of feel-good factor. And I've spoken to a few people that was at the game last night, and they all said one thing, which was like pretty consistent, which is that the atmosphere was really good. Yeah. And that's credit to the fans, given what's happened in the previous couple of games. There was a bit of doom and gloom. Yeah. So, and I do think the players fed off that. And they put in what I thought was a really good performance. In fact, I'm going to go as far as to say 2-1, I think, flattered Tottenham. I think massively. Arsenal could easily have won that game on another day, 4, maybe even 5-1.
Disagree. Yeah, I mean, we had maybe another chance or two.
Did you say you agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Oh, you disagree? Why?
I think the 2-1 result was fine. I think Tottenham had a couple chances. We had a couple more chances than them, hence why we deserved the win. But I wouldn't say the performance per se leaves me with the utmost confidence for Aston Villa.
No, but you know what? Actually, you make a good point there. So I guess what I'm saying is, I thought the performance and the approach play was very good. We didn't take our chances. We could have scored more. Absolutely. And it's interesting because when we played Man United at the weekend, I think we created something like 26 chances and only scored 1 goal. Yesterday, I think it was something like 14 chances we created and scored 2. I think overall, I just think it was a much better, maybe it's aesthetically, James, what do you think? But I just think we played a lot better.
I see what you're saying, but for me it's more like, how do I explain it? I think in football, sustained pressure is a big thing. When you have that chance, do you have another one quite quickly after? When you have that chance and they clear it, do you keep them pinned in and go again? I thought we did this a lot better than against Newcastle and Man United. Against Newcastle, mainly the Man United game, people point to the chance we missed, but it felt like, and I'm plucking this out of my head, it felt like the chances came in maybe the 30th minute, the 60th minute, the 72nd, the 101st. Like, it never felt like we had a chance, they made a save, then we had another and they clawed that off the line, then another, then a block, and that is when you really start to mount it on a team. And I felt against Spurs there was a lot more of that, not necessarily always chances, but winning the ball high up the pitch, Trossard block, comes back out, then we go again to the back post, and it just felt a lot more relentless in terms of our attacking intent, and I thought there was much more pace about our performance. Now, I know what you mean, because you look at this Solanke, the Gabriel tackle, the Kulusevski chance from the corner, and then the actual goal. But that all came in like a 5-minute spell for Tottenham. So you can say kind of 3 big chances, but I kind of look at that as 5 minutes in which Spurs were in the game. I think basically for the other 90, Arsenal were totally dominant. And when I don't mean dominant in terms of always on the front foot, but just having Spurs where they wanted them. So I thought this was a much better all-round performance, even if it wasn't a masterclass in chance creation, though it was a level up, and it certainly wasn't a masterclass in finishing. It was quite frankly a disaster class in it, actually. But I just think a little bit more conviction from Havertz and Sterling. We do win that 4-1, and we're probably feeling like we deserved it, to be fair.
Yeah, I certainly felt that we dominated the game, and we should have put it to bed a little bit better, especially in the second half. But overall, I thought it was an improved
It
performance.
comes back down to the chances, though, for me.
Yeah, I hear.
Because, you know, you stop short of... And like you see, you mentioned the other games where, you know, the keeper might have made a save here and there. I don't remember the Tottenham keeper making a save that I thought, right. And that's what it comes down to. We did dominate for 92 minutes, and they did have 3-4 minutes of that game. But in that 3-4 minutes, Ryan makes the save of the game.
You're right, yeah.
Great save. And we've essentially we're a toe away from conceding even before that, with Gabriel's, you know, toe poke away from Son. So I think definitely improved performance, but in front of goal, listen, Trossard, you know, in front of goal, that's what we need to see more of. Across the front line, across the forwards, a bit of clinicalness, you know. You have an opportunity, you have space to move into, and you move into that space and you pick your opportunity, you take your opportunity, and Trossard did that, and Trossard won us the game with that, because aside from that, moving forward, how many great, you might talk about the Havertz headers in the second half. I'm struggling to think of any more real try, and this is against the Tottenham side that
I forgot about those Havertz headers.
yeah, the Tottenham side, okay, they beat Liverpool 1-0, but they're also prone to conceding hella goals and chances.
Yeah.
So maybe not the best platform to assess, but Aston Villa will be tougher for us. I think Emery will set up a lot tougher for us to beat. I don't think that. I know that.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that Aston Villa will be. Well, we don't know for sure, but put it this way, they're a better team, I would have said, than Tottenham. Yeah,
Oh,
do you
for sure.
agree?
Yeah.
They'll be more balanced in what they try to do. I think Tottenham was so... Do you know what struck me? And I know we see it whenever they're playing, but still, when you actually watch it against your own team, you're just perplexed by it. Like, the amount of times they were trying to play out the back, but their fullbacks were so high up the pitch, they weren't in a position. Because one thing about Arsenal is our fullbacks, they're quite set, so if we lose possession, you've actually kind of got a back four intact, whereas they had Spence and Potter up the pitch. So at one point, do you remember when Lewis Skelly won the ball back and he rolled it through to Sterling? But I was thinking, how has Sterling got that much space to attack? And we've only won it kind of, you know, loosely in midfield, but we're straight up the pitch in basically one drive and one pass. And that's what Spurs give you. So while there's an improvement on the attacking side, Spurs allow that. Villa I don't think will. They do get fullbacks to go up the pitch. You know, they've got the Dignes and the Cashford as well, where they've quite played with that. Sometimes it's Concert right back, but I haven't really followed Villa too close, which not great for a preview, apologies. But you know, tactically they can be a bit like that. Obviously,
I think
we know
they're a
they
much
can
more
be quite
balanced team
4-4-2
as well, Villa.
Yeah, they
Right
are
throughout,
more
I mean,
balanced. They've got more
they're-
physicality in that midfield.
Yeah.
I think, you know, you got Tielemans, the guy on the ball. You
That's
look
right.
at that assist against City the other day. Onana, very much the presence, but we know he's technically very, very good. Morgan Rogers is meant to be that kind of more 10-second
He's a
striker.
baller, man.
Yeah, he's probably got the most presence of the lot, the way he carries with the ball.
Yeah.
So they will present something differently from a physical perspective. I think.
And let's not forget up top, because I do believe that Duran is back for this game. He served his
Will
suspension.
he start though?
Well, I mean,
He
I wouldn't
didn't-
say
he
they got an
didn't even come off the
embarrassment
bench.
of riches, but they do have what we don't have at the moment, which was options up top. They got
Two
Ollie
serious
Watkins,
strikers, yeah.
who scored against Everton, and let's be honest, the Everton game. Okay, Everton not in their best form, but that was Moyes' first home game back, so the atmosphere would have been quite, you know what I mean, significant, and they overcame Everton. So, yeah, I
always a
think they're
good
going to be a
result,
stern
Goodison.
test.
Yeah, I agree, man. It'd be interesting to see. Well, they'll probably go Watkins, but Duran's a big threat, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he is.
So yeah, up front they got an abundance of options, not just in the attacking positions, like you said, Rodgers, McGinn, and in general their midfield is you know, we can talk about the options they have in attack. Their midfield is quite a unit as well. When you take in the options they have across the board, they've got very different players. They can
Kamara
set up
as well
very
in there?
differently, yeah.
I did a little
Again,
bit of a scouting
Tielemans.
report on them the other day because I watched their FA Cup game
Yeah.
last Friday against West Ham, and they didn't get off to the most auspicious of starts. In fact, West Ham, for a good part of that first half, were the better team. But in the second half, once Villa scored, they did look good towards the end of that game. So they do have threats, no doubt about it.
I'm just looking at their 11. I mean, it was Digne and Cash as fullbacks with Ming, so he's obviously returned. He had a long spell out, didn't he?
Yeah.
With Concert at the back and Kamara and Onana together with Tielemans more in the 10. I mean, Rodgers and Ramsey wide. I mean, they basically got those five central midfielders all in. You know, I know Ramsey's played wide before. I know Rodgers has the drive to play out wide and the quality. But that is very much the Emery blueprint, actually keep things quite condensed as a midfield four. Sometimes that would be with two strikers, sometimes that would be with someone behind the striker. So no surprise that that's kind of what they're going for there. McGinn, even in his time under Emery, has largely been played out on the right or the left because he likes really good, hard-working players out there, and actually the width and the attacking impetus comes from the Diñez and Cashes of this world. So yeah, that could make it a real battle for Arsenal in midfield because Partey and Rice, you know, we know what they can. I thought they both did really well against Spurs. Odegaard was back to his best.
Yeah, I thought Odegaard.
You can get overrun physically.
If only he could finish.
Yeah, I know. But he did everything else.
You know, it's funny because I was chatting to Curtis today. Shout out to Curtis. Me and him talk a lot, as you might know.
Okay. Big up,
right, so I was saying
right.
that with Odegaard, it's baffling because you've got a guy that's so technically good. Sometimes he's an absolute joy to watch, but his finishing, I've got to say, sometimes you think, how can somebody that technically good Turkish not be as effective, more effective in front of goal?
Finishing is a completely different art.
Yeah.
Technical doesn't matter in front of goal. Confidence matters more. How clean you strike a ball matters. People might call that technical, but I think it's.
Is it confidence?
There's a lot of mental factors to it that technique can't make up for. You look at some of the great strikers in the history of the Premier League. A lot of them don't have that technical ability that Ozil's a prime example for us. All the technical ability in the world, probably the most that we've had since a Cazorla or Bergkamp. But in front of goal, you know, it looks like a shot might hurt him. You know, so yeah, technical players and finishing don't go hand in hand. Obviously, I've seen better seasons of finishing from Odegaard. That first full season he had with the 15, was it first full season, 15 goals? I mean,
second full season. But you know what it was about that? It was the conviction with which he struck the ball. Every time it was rolled to the edge of the area, which I think is probably one of the hardest finishes in football, it's been rolled to you like that, and you've got to pick a side. So the decision's not made for you. It's quite difficult. I remember he scored 2 against Chelsea here in a 3-1 win. And each time, one he picked out the roof of the net, and then another he picked out the side for low corner, I think, if I'm remembering right. I remember against Man United when I think Nketiah or Martinelli, one of them rolled it to him. Rashford had just scored and he pulls one back. You know, you expect some of his technical ability to be able to pull off that strike, but like you said, it's conviction, it's mentality, it's composure. So somewhere that's gone, because for him and Havertz, both of them in front of goal right now, not looking like they really believe it. They don't really mean it.
Yeah,
and I think mean is what I mean.
Really.
We all saw in the we were on the watch on together.
Yes.
Okay, striking. It sounds really bad. I sound like I make all the excuse in the world, but I can kind of understand in front of goal, pick a spot, keep it to beat. I can understand why the blood rushes to your head a little bit, maybe. I mean, Lord knows I've never got to this level. But when you're squaring it to Raheem Sterling to put it into the back of the net, and you're getting even that wrong, it feels like everything in the penalty area right now just feels like stress for these Arsenal players. They should relax a little bit and just trust in their quality, because they've all shown they can do it.
Do you think that the stick he's been receiving, and certainly some of the online stuff, which I've got to say is absolutely unacceptable, do you think that that's playing a part?
I think a club in a better position squad-wise, whether it be injuries or with other players available, whatever it might be, I think would have pulled Havertz out the firing line a little bit and just gone, you know, because it is quite heavy. However, I don't know, it depends on the temperament of the player. Some players, don't know why Wayne Rooney springs to mind, but some players just would want to go out there and just sort of like, it'd fuel them. Now maybe Havertz isn't that kind of character, but either way, he shouldn't be subject to that kind of, and his family certainly shouldn't be subject to that kind of abuse. I don't know what it is with Kai. Look, he's clearly a confidence player. He clearly is. Whether we think that's acceptable or not is another thing, but he clearly is a confidence player. But I just think the confidence will come if you do things meaning it. You know, when you pass the ball, punch it into the player, you know. If you're going to make that tackle on the goalkeeper, you win it, get up, get out your feet, and you're in. And I feel like the work ethic's there, but the real kind of conviction and belief that you can do anything after that is, you know, he was losing, I said to Turkish on the way in, he was losing to like aerial duels to Archie Gray. He's a good young player, but Archie Gray's 18, 6 foot, you know, Havertz 6'4", he's not even a centre back. And you just got a bit bullied in that game. And I just think impose yourself, and that's got to come from within. We can say what we want, but that's got to come from Kai.
Yeah, I wish we talking about mentality. the mentality of, say, a Gabriel or even a Miles Skelly. I think you wish that they could say to Havertz, look, here, have some of this elite mentality.
Lewis Skelly's a great example.
Yeah.
The way he's imposed himself in the first team since arriving and the personality with which he plays the game, even if he makes mistakes, that's we need more of that in the team. And I think that's got to be in them somewhere, some of these other players. They've just got to find it.
Okay, so let's get back to the game on Saturday then. I see a very competitive, hard-fought game. Villa need the points. We most certainly need the points. Turkish, what do you think the tactics from the manager will be?
I think you come to the wrong person. You got Mr. Tactical Insight here. And you're win the game, man. Tactics. We've barely got a squad to be able to.
Okay, let me phrase it another way, James. How do you think Villa will approach the game? Will they come and sit, give us the ball, try and hit us on the counter, or do you think that they will try and engage us?
They're going to squeeze the midfield.
Yeah, they'll squeeze the midfield, but I don't know. You never know with Emery. Like, Emery has got this. Sometimes he wants to just back his team and play. Sometimes he wants to be quite pragmatic. You kind of do a bit of both. He's a very unique manager, Emery, in that he doesn't have one sort of this is how I play. He might have a preferred profile of winger, but sometimes we're talking about those central midfielders on the wing. Sometimes it's it was Diaby and Bailey last season. Yeah. So he does mix it up. See, will he go Duran and Watkins, or will he go 4-1 up front with a 10 behind? I think he's far more flexible in the way he wants to approach the game than Arteta. And funnily enough, when he was our manager, that was something that actually bothered us, because we were like, what's your identity? Sometimes it'd be a 3-4-1-2, sometimes it'd be a 3-4-3. I think we were playing the North London derby and he went for a 3-4-3. We were 2-1 down at half time, brought on Lacazette, we were in the game 4-2. Yeah. Now that's a real strength of his, because he can tweak the system, put players in different areas, get the best out of them, and bam, it clicks. But
on the reverse
there's
of
too many messages for the players.
There was that famous game against Palace, wasn't it, when he made a load of changes. We came up short.
Mavropanos came in, El Neni,
So you're right, he does.
So he can
be a bit of a maverick.
I don't really know what we're going to get, but I think it'll be the workman-like midfield. From Arsenal perspective, I think the high press is the one thing we're doing really well. Keep at it. I loved seeing us chase Tottenham all over the pitch yesterday, and they're good on the ball. They can play. That's
one thing that I think Havertz did do quite well, especially in the first half.
Pressing was good.
Saw him chasing down the keeper, forced him into a couple of errors, or
It's not benching Havertz again, man.
Say what?
Problem is for who? Would you start Sterling again?
No, I just mean we're forcing it. We know what Havertz needs to do. We're not going, the abuse he's received, unacceptable. There's wrong-uns in the world. That's a world problem. It's a people problem. Yeah, that's not a football problem. That's a human problem. Yeah, it's unacceptable. Them men don't deserve to breathe to be sending a woman messages of that ilk. They don't deserve to be breathing. Yeah. But in terms of Havertz and Arsenal, we know what he needs to do. There's no point in talking about work rate and talking about put another poor performance. We know what it is. We know what he needs to do, and let's assess it.
And we know that he will start. And I know we'll cover that, the starting 11, in another show. But I am interested in your predictions and how you think it will go. So let's start with James. How do you think this plays out? I mean, we desperately need the points. No point in beating Spurs. I know it's a North London derby. Yeah. But there's no point in beating Spurs and then coming up short against Villa. We did beat them earlier in the season, so the blueprint is there. But nevertheless, this is going to be a difficult game.
That was a strange game at Villa Park. I actually thought we did deserve to win that game, despite obviously the chances Watkins missed or the Raya saves. I think, what did I say on Forever Arsenal? I think I said 2-0. I don't know why I thought we'd keep a clean sheet, but at the risk of repeating what I said on the pod, there's something strange about Villa. They are points and places above Spurs. By far, they're in the race for Champions League football. Yeah. Yet their goal difference is -1. Tottenham's is +11. Now some people go, "Oh, you bloody numbers nerd. Football isn't played in data. Why do you care?" But that's quite strange, isn't it?
It is strange.
They're the second lowest scorers in the top 10. That's really weird for the talent they've got. And actually, they played really good football last season. So that doesn't. And then why are they conceding so many goals? Because I always see them as quite sensible at the back. Never too leaky, but nor do I think they're, Stoke FC as we get called. But there's something about. I haven't quite figured Villa out this season yet. But they're a very good side, very good players, and Emery's a very good manager. So I would never back us to batter a side like that, because they're going to make it difficult. But I'll go 2-0 because I just have this feeling that, a bit like against Spurs, the ball might just fall in the back of the net a few times for us.
Turkish?
2-2.
2-2. Desmond,
Yeah.
why is that then?
I just didn't see enough in the Tottenham performance to be very confident against Aston Villa. So it's more of a default prediction for me recently, considering we're in a bit of a funny time around performances and squad.
Unknown time.
You know, unknown. I'm gonna go 2-2. Don't get twisted. Tempted to say 2-1 Arsenal, but I just need to see a better performance. We need the 3 points. That's all that matters. If we win it like we done against Tottenham again, I'm more than happy Monday. But I do think either Tottenham or Arsenal drop point. I mean, either Liverpool or Arsenal will drop points this weekend. And looking at the table, it has to work in our favour.
Yeah.
Yep, you know what? That's very honest, as you're well known for. So, yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Me, I'm going to go for another 2-1. I know that sounds a bit safe. I've been predicting a lot of 2-1s recently. But I just think we might ride that wave. It's another home game. I think the fans will be up for it. They played their part in the win against Tottenham. I thought the fans were really good. I think we could feed off that energy. Obviously, there's issues in front of goal, taking our chances. But I just fancy us to get it across the line. Maybe because we need it a bit more than them. That might be the difference. So I'm going 2-1.
Or maybe we're a bit more desperate.
Yeah,
Sometimes
exactly.
that helps.
So, and sometimes that is that little bit of difference that is required. But listen, thanks so much to James and to my man Turkish here. Thanks to you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.